Hello there, good evening, and a warm welcome to Nchezo, right here on Kanele 97.7 FM, live from Kanele, Bokosiwan. I'm your host, Stephen Nkoma. All right, so tonight we feature one of Zambia's prominent political figures, a lawyer, author, and politician, Mr. Kelvin Fube Bwalya. Which I would definitely need him to explain on that because we mostly call him a KBF and would want some quiet explanation on that. He's president of the Zambia Must Prosper, ZMP if you like. We'll be discussing politics, governance, and the future of the opposition as the nation heads towards the 2026 general election. Mr. Bwalya, good evening, and tumpokeleni kuno kukaya yoka.
Mbuya muli bwana.
Nili bwino kaya ibu.
Tili bwino.
Zikomo kwambiri. Before we look at the aspect of this conversation this evening, today marks 11 years.
Yes.
Since we lost the 5th Republican president, Michael Chilufya Sata. How would you remember him?
A strong man. A very strong, courageous leader with very serious principles. A man with a very big heart. A forgiving, caring heart. A patriot of this country. A very serious politician who understood what this country needed for development, coming up with a pro-poor policy that led to a lot of things that he wanted to do, a good manifesto. A strong, very vibrant party was born out of a vision called the Patriotic Front. When we joined him sometime in 2001, 2002, we were neighbors. I used to have an office at E.W. Terry's along Cairo Road. His office was at Farmer's House. We were diagonally opposite each other. We did a lot of talking, a lot of By the time we moved offices and we began to coordinate a bit more, we had formed an organization called Anti-Rigging Zambia, which we wanted to use to protect the vote. We realized that Sata, Benzovanyunya, my elections, that time from MMD. And so this movement called Anti-Rigging was like a buffer to make sure that we trained the polling agents, we trained the monitors, and ensured that whatever we did now came to fruition in 2011 when we managed successfully to have him as president.
Do you think this man is adequately remembered by this nation?
No. A lot of things have happened in this country, and I want to challenge the movie makers. And by movie makers, I mean those who like telling stories through cinema and through graphics, through stories, through literature, that we've got a lot of stories to tell on the political scene, which we don't tell as Zambians. A character such as Michael Chilufya Sata requires a full movie, because that's the only way you could explain it. We don't just need to be watching movies of Shaka Zulu. We want to be watching movies, Yama Love Scenes, the housewives of Hollywood, housewives of Joburg. No. We need sometimes serious documentaries, serious character movies where you see him in action. And some of us can tell that story because we know how we collaborated to make sure that Zambia gains that very important milestone of changing a government from the MMD, which had been in power for 20 years, to the PF.
All right.
So we need such characters to be remembered by films and literature.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk about you. In my preamble, I did mention
Yes.
that your name is abbreviated as KBF.
Yes.
And to a certain extent, I found it hard to identify your surname in there. Just share with us.
My name is Kelvin Fube Bwalya. But KBF came about because of setting up a business in the law fraternity. As a lawyer, I tried BKF, FKB. It wasn't rhyming. KBF came off the tongue quicker. So I put it like that. But for those who don't know, Fube is my middle name.
Okay.
I was named after my late father's grandmother. She was a very powerful woman who lived in Chinsadi. And she was a very good cook. Now, you know, in the African sense, most times when you are born at a time when someone is leaving or dying, they tend to remember you or remember that person through you. So I am named after my father's grandmother.
Okay.
She was Fube.
All right.
Fube Mwanakashi. I am Fube Mwaume. So in Bemba, names are interchangeable. There are no female names, no male names. You just say Bwalya Mwaume, and there might be 3 warriors, but they want a particular warrior to come.
Okay.
So when you're called, you answer based on who they are calling.
Okay.
So Fube is my middle name, but my surname is Bwalya.
You seem to be wearing a lot of jackets.
Yes.
Who really are you?
Well, I'm a father. I'm happily married to my lovely wife, who I grew up with back in the day in Mufulira. We both came from Mufulira, came to university together, carried on. Eventually we got married, started a family. I am also a child of God. I've grown up in the United Church of Zambia. I started my Sunday school at Mufulira Central School, Central Church, where we lived in Mufulira. We lived at the hospital compound, which was very close to our Central Church. And after that, I moved to St. John's because I began school there, still under the United Church of Zambia. I started my nursery school there along Kombe Avenue. And then I began my primary school at Mufulira Primary School. After grade 7, I went to Tondo Secondary School, still in Mufulira. After my Form 5, I went to National Service in Kafue. After that, I was called to the university, and I decided to become a lawyer. So that's one hat I also wear. I'm a lawyer. Other than that, I'm a politician's son. My father was a politician with friends like John Chisada, Jackson Mutale, Chambeshi, Simon Mwansaka Pwepwe, Mucheleka. Big names. They worked under Kenneth David Kaunda. They were unipists. Later they broke off and became the United Progressive Party, UPP, under Kapwepwe. They were imprisoned several times under the preservation of public security because of fighting the one-party participatory democracy under Kaunda. Eventually, he was freed, came back to us, and as a family, we started living together. But yes, I'm a lawyer, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a churchman. In the church, in the United Church of Zambia, I grew up from Sunday school. I became a boys' brigade. I became a youth leader. I am a full communicant member of Trinity Congregation after having transferred from Mufulira to Trinity here in Lusaka, and I've remained at Trinity. I am now a member of the MCF, Men's Christian Fellowship, in the church. So we are basically elders in the church. Yes.
I know you were a member of the Patriotic Front.
Yes.
Just share with us how you actively started participating in politics, and when was that?
Like I said, we joined Wasat around 2002 when he formed the Patriotic Front. We were in the legal committee. The legal committee for the Patriotic Front then comprised of senior lawyers such as State Counsel Bonaventure Mutali, State Counsel Mumba Kapumpa, State Counsel John Muluila, State Counsel Baobi Mubanga the late, myself, and Anthony Kasolo, things like that. We worked in the background, really. But when we began to get involved with force, was, like I said, when we realized that Wasata was being dribbled. There was a lot of rigging of elections. And we thought we needed to begin litigation. So we began taking the Electoral Commission of Zambia to court on a lot of fronts. And we found some irregularities that we needed to correct. We also began to fight to ensure that we got the right frame of mind in ECZ. But also, we began to teach and protect the monitors who were supposed to go across the country to protect the vote.
Okay.
That was my background. So we got very close to Lamdala Vasata, whose anniversary we're commemorating today in terms of death. And when he died, I think Edgar Chagolungu recognized that I was one of the pillars that Vasata relied on. My legal office was basically a de facto secretariat for the PF in terms of material, in terms of regalia, in terms of getting the message out there to teach and fight for what we thought was right. It became very intense at some times because everything we did with vigor and a lot of passion to make sure that Vasata got what he wanted. So when Edgar Lungu was acting president in 2014, Vasata was in London, a sick man. He got the news that the president had died. I was one of the first 4 people Edgar Lungu called to his home at Lewanika. He used to live in the ministerial compound. He was along the Lewanika Road there to go to his house. And he told me, we have lost the president in London. And he wanted my help now for him, for his candidature, to vie for the presidency. And he had a lot of portfolios. He was Secretary General. He was Minister of Justice. I think he was Home Affairs or something like that. But I think he had 4 or 5 senior portfolios. So we began to strategize. Guy Scott, who was Vice President to Asata, had his camp with other aspirants, and they began to fight Walungu. But we managed to make sure that Walungu, at the convention in Kabwe, became the candidate. I wasn't alone. I was with people like Wasami Omukupa. I was with Wamaeva Inonge Wina. I was with people like the late William Sanda and others.
People, maybe some of your opponents have continuously referred to that convention as illegal, as having just elected ECL by raising of hands. How legal is that process?
Very legal. Very legal. If anyone has read the constitution of the PF, they understand that you can vote by either dropping in the ballot a vote or by acclamation. Now, in this particular instance, what we had was we only had one candidate, ECL. The rest of the candidates didn't want to come and participate because they were waiting for a convention to be organized by Guy Scott. But that convention was called by the chairperson. Mama Inonge Wina was the chairperson of PF. She convened the meeting. The meeting began with her authority. So what is illegal about that? There was nothing illegal. They tried to block us by trying to get an injunction. But we managed to get an injunction before them, stopping their second convention. And again, that's the story for another day. But we managed.
All right. You were once a key member of the Patriotic Front.
Yes.
But later in 2021, you supported the UPND during that general election.
Yes.
A move, some say, contributed to their victory.
Yes.
What really motivated that decision at the time? And why was your relationship with the UPND short-lived? Also, later on, you went to form your own now, Zambia Must Prosper. What was the main reason behind this move that we are at today?
Many people tend to forgive or forget the fact that between 2019 and 2020, the PF participants to the conference, who came from almost 20 different countries, they saw that as insubordination, and they decided to carry on with the meeting without me. They expelled me.
Oh.
Whatever case they gave me. But the main case, as I understood it from reports in the Central Committee, is that I had told the late President Lungu and some members of the Central Committee, I had appeared on radio and television, and I had said that I didn't think that Lungu should stand in 2021, because speaking as a lawyer, I felt that was a third term. He had already been elected twice. Once, first time was in 2015, second time was in 2016. And the provision of the Constitution provided, and still provides, that when a person has been twice elected and twice sworn in as president, he can't stand again. So I told them, I said, for me, I see this as a third term. How are we going to justify that a president has got a maximum of 5 years in office, where Lungu has stayed for 7 years, having taken over from Basat? If we give him another 5 years, that will be 12. Which constitution are we using? So it became a difficult thing for me. That, according to the Central Committee of the Patriotic Front then, was a crime, an offense. So they went and propagated this offense, had me expelled.
Was it an in-house conversation where you uttered those words?
No. I was very vocal about it because as a constitutional lawyer and as just a practicing lawyer, I felt very strongly. Remember, we had also fought against a third-term bid against Bwalya, and I didn't think we should repeat it. So I said, no. We can't do this. We've done this before. Bwalya wanted the third term. And we said, no. Why? What's so special about Lungu? May his soul rest in peace. There was nothing personal there. I just wanted to uphold and defend the Constitution. And that's what we did.
You supported the UPND. Was that the best alternative?
After that?
Yeah.
After that, I was basically a free agent. I had no political mileage. I had no political affiliation. The PF had thrown me out. I was free. So you must remember, in this life, we are friends with a lot of people. The current president, Hakainde, and me are friends from university. We have got a circle of friends. We know each other. So he sent emissaries to come and meet me and plead with me to help him. He realized my ability, and I said, okay, I'll help you, but I'm not joining you.
What were the terms and conditions to this relationship?
Basically, it was to help him because at that time also, let's flip. The PF had become toxic. They were not willing to listen to other voices. Second, they were pushing, in my view, a third-term bid for their candidate. Most importantly, they had become lawlessness. They had become lawless in the sense that they were promoting cadreism, thuggery, fighting, the disingenuous disrespect of the rule of law. Good governance had been thrown outside the window. Cadres were beating up civil servants, threatening permanent secretaries in their offices. We were on a downward slide against the rule of law. I thought that was wrong. So I strongly felt we needed to bring back order. The conditions you ask, when Hakainde and myself were talking, we had 4 pillars. We agreed, 1, we should bring back the nation's unity, because at that time the nation had been polarized politically. Second, we agreed we'll bring back the rule of law. We agreed we're going to bring back good governance. And fourth, we agreed that we're going to have and run a meritorious government, meaning as long as you're a Zambian and you're qualified You could be given a job or employment, or you could be given an opportunity. Obviously, those 4 pillars have been thrown through the window.
Was there anything to do with the token of appreciation to you once the UPND formed government, having helped them?
Well, we had discussed, and I was offered the job. Not once, not twice, many jobs. But I said I didn't want the job. Because for me, I went there to help. But I also didn't want to be clogged up, because one of the conditions for getting the job, Hakainde Ichilema said, I must then collapse Zambia Must Prosper into UPND. In other words, I should kill my party. I should kill my political ambitions to support him. I said, no, I can't do it. I just came to help you. And if in future I don't agree with what you're doing, or the Zambians don't agree, how do I get out of this? If I collapse my party. Some weak people, some Nashalaneka political parties, yes, they collapsed their parties. And they've joined him. So you won't hear of them. The UPND alliance had a lot of political parties at the time. But some of them have agreed to work under UPND. And they collapsed their parties in UPND. So right now they don't exist. They're just on paper. They have agreed to be subordinate to the UPND, which is unfortunate for democracy.
You're saying the 4 pillars of your agreement were not met after UPND formed government.
Yes.
Do you regret supporting?
Yes, I do. I do. Because for a guy who kept saying, Mwana, I've been arrested 15 times, the rule of law under PF is not working. So for me, help me. I'll come and instill good governance. I'll come and... I realized, okay, avutika munzanga. So let me help him. But to come and do exactly what you are saying you want to do, I mean, you can see right now the arrests of people, especially to do with politicians, those that are incarcerated today, mainly from the PF. You've got Chitotela in custody. You've got Chilangwa in custody. You've got Bowman. You've got Malanji. You've got from Eastern Province, my young brother from Lumezi, Munia Zulu. Some of these are trumped-up charges. Now we've got the latest one. The Secretary General of the Patriotic Front, Raphael Nakachimbe, he's been thrown in there. Why? Because he expressed an opinion.
Isn't this the rule of law that Zambians voted for in 2021?
No.
Isn't this what we wanted as a country?
The rule of law does not mean go and start punishing all political opponents. No, that's not the rule of law. That's being vindictive. Hakainde Hichilema went into office with a very bitter heart, with a lot of vindictiveness. Because of those 15 arrests he had suffered. That's what he's doing now, is revenge. You don't, as a leader, go into office with a view of revenging. That is not leadership, Bwalya. No. That's not leadership. That is going into office to go and use your authority to punish. That is what we're trying to get away from. On the issue of merit, we agreed we're going to run a meritorious government. As long as you're a Zambian, as long as you're qualified, you remain in your office, or you'll be given job opportunities or business opportunities. Today, we have seen the ugly head of tribalism, and people are complaining. Why is it that everybody being appointed to senior positions is coming from one region or from one tribe? Is that what we fought for? Is that merit? Are we saying to the Zambians that the only qualified people come from one region, come from one tribe? That's not fair. No. We've got educated Zambians across the board. And we want those Zambians to have equal opportunity, equal access to business. That is not happening. And when I saw that, I realized, my friend has gone off the tracks. I know that now with proof that there is a sense of discrimination against one section of Zambia. That is not correct. No.
Of course, there are those that have come out,
Yes.
and now they are saying mostly those that are practicing this vice, so-called tribalism, are not arrested or held accountable. But those who try to speak against this particular act are the ones being punished. Do you share the same sentiment?
Yes. Look at my young brother Chimbakambui. My young brother Chimbakambui suffered that fate. He was convicted for hate speech, or whatever they call it, in trying to appeal his case in Kasama and other things. He lost 2 brothers in a terrible road accident. I mean, for just speaking against something. Maybe the problem with Bwalya at the time is he spoke without evidence. But he saw it like he was being prophetic. I am speaking with evidence, which I can tell you that today we've got over 400 civil servants, senior civil servants, who have been removed out of their offices in government and parastatal and surrendered back to PSMD, doing nothing, but they are being paid. I have got that evidence. So I can speak as a fact. I know that some policemen have been transferred and removed from their positions purely because they come from a certain region. I have got that as evidence. So I know for a fact that we are seeing a sense of discrimination, segregation, and the promotion and supporting of certain regions, certain tribes in this country. So that I can speak to with evidence. Maybe Bwalya spoke too soon. But now, for me, we have experienced this. So we know for a fact this is happening.
All right.
So we can't say it is not happening. We'll be too blind. We have to be realistic. It is happening, and the Zambians are protesting against it. And this is one of the reasons that in 2026, this UPND government is going to be kicked out of power.
All right. I want some clarity. Let me take you back, Mr.
Right.
Bwalya. You did mention that on several occasions there were promises of wanting to give you a job by President Hakainde Hichilema. Would you mention some of the proposed positions?
No, it doesn't matter. I never took them up. I didn't want. You see, for me, I respect when we have a confidential discussion. I leave it there.
Maybe was it the positions were not beneficial enough?
No. I didn't go to help Hakainde Hichilema to get a job. There are those people, some of the people in the alliance who went there for jobs. Those are the ones he's gone with. I didn't go there for that. I went there primarily, one, to teach the PF a lesson. Because I told them, you have expelled me from the party. A party which I have helped to build. A party for which I have worked with the founder, Sata. A party which the second president, Edgar Chagolungu, called me to assist him. And we made him a president. And you just come and expel me because of a difference of opinion. So I told them, I wanted to teach PF a lesson to understand. They should respect ability. They wanted me to be expelled and to be thrown into the wilderness of politics. I said, I'll show you. I know how to win politically. And when I want to win, I plan, I strategize. So yes, I went to teach PF a lesson. I taught them a lesson and I moved back. For Hakainde Hichilema, I didn't say, until you give me a job, then I'll help you. No. I just told them, I'll help you. I know where your weakness is. I know why you're not winning elections. And obviously, God has blessed some of us with the gift of gap. We know how to talk. So when we talk, people listen.
With these happenings, the PF discarding you, now not working perfectly well with the UPND, do you think some of these people you have collaborated with in the past have taken you for a ladder and not part of the team?
Yes. Most of them actually think that I should just be there to help them, to prop them up. I've refused that. I've propped up Vasat. I have helped Walungu win 2 elections. I mean, I've done enough. Why can't they help me?
Zambians now, sir, think heading into the 2026 general election, the opposition needs to unite as one and put the UPND out. But with the experience of you helping the UPND alliance in 2021 form government, are you quite hesitant to affiliate to some of these coalitions? Of course, we have seen you now getting to the Tonse Alliance. Are you going there not fully decided, just saying maybe twice beaten, once beaten, twice shy, that phrase? Is it somehow clicking in your mind now that anything can happen, and probably, but also we are looking at the aspect of people calling for this unity now, because it seems many of them are desperate to see the change of government.
Well, thankfully, I must confess that the late 6th Republican president was very open. And when he realized that he wasn't very accepted in, first of all, the UKA alliance, he then decided with some other people to form TONSE. That's where he invited me to join him. Initially, he said I should join UKA. I told him, no, I can't. Because I realized in UKA there were too many egos. And some people in UKA I didn't trust. When TONSE came about, he said, come and join TONSE. I said, I want to see who is in TONSE, and I want to see if we can trust each other. So he asked me to attend 2 meetings as an observer, which I did. I found the atmosphere a bit more different, and I felt, okay, this we can help.
Okay.
So we went now to put together our experiences. In the reconciliation between Walungu and myself, remember he was president of PF, and he sat in the central committee that voted to expel me. We had to get over that bridge. So he told me, look, you have already proved your point. You don't need to fight anymore. I have told my colleagues that we need you. Without you, it is difficult to win. So I told him I'm grateful, but what is it that I've proved? And he said, we went into the 2021 general elections without you, and we lost. When we tried the other elections previously, 3 times, we won with you. And where you went to help Hakainde, he succeeded. So I know, he himself now was telling me, I know that we can win with you. And I said, fine.
The TONSE alliance is the brains of the PF, and
no.
seems to be centered based on the claims that are coming forth from the other people that are in there, and they are actually saying the leader of TONSE alliance should come from the PF. Don't you feel unsettled with that?
First of all, that is a wrong notion. The PF did not create TONSE. TONSE was created by the ECL political movement. ECL moved out of UKA as an individual, and he carried with him a certain aura, having been a former president, and obviously his experience, his network. He moved then to form TONSE with other political parties, not PF. No, that he made very clear. He wanted those who believed in him, wanted those who believed in his vision to move with him. If PF felt that they could move with him, then they could apply, which they did as a political party. And when they applied, that's how they became part of TONSE. But TONSE is not a brainchild of PF, no. It was a brainchild of ECL and some of the people that worked with ECL. That's the correction I wanted to make.
Do you see a possibility of its leader, this alliance, coming from any other political party?
Yes.
Apart from this other grouping?
Yes, because PF right now, where is PF? I mean, the truth of the matter is PF doesn't exist as we know it. PF has been hijacked by Chavingha. First of all, it was Mao Sampa who had that convention. And then Chavingha also took over. They've been trying to get the registrar of societies to give them back PF. They've gone to court several times. They're still in court. As a politician who understands the thinking of Hakainde, there is no way this UPND government is going to let go of PF. So there is no PF.
Okay, fast forward. Let's assume...
There is PF in the pseudo as an organization controlled by Chavingha. But PF is already in an alliance with the UPND. Now, how can an opposition be in an alliance the ruling government, and you expect to topple them. It doesn't make sense. But that's how they've been trying to get the registrar of societies to give them back PF. They've gone to court several times. They're still in court. As a politician who understands the thinking of Hakainde, there is no way this UPND government is going to let go of PF. So there is no PF.
Okay, fast forward. Let's assume...
There is PF in the Sudo as an organization controlled by Chawinga. But as by extension, Chawinga is controlled by the UPND.
All right.
And if you've heard, Chawinga has already put it on record that PF, his PF, is already in an alliance with the UPND. Now, how can an opposition be in an alliance with the ruling government and you expect to topple them? It doesn't make sense. But that's where we are right now.
All right. Let's assume you pass through all these hurdles that you're going through as the opposition alliance.
Right.
And sadly, you are not picked either as its presidential candidate or running mate.
Right.
Would you still support the movement?
On two conditions. I've already said this. If the person picked to stand against Hakainde, I believe that he can win us an election. Yes. I'll support that. If I think that person cannot beat Hakainde and we cannot through him beat the UPND, no, I can't. Because this is a one-shot chance. We don't have to miss. Zambians, we don't have to take chances with this one. This one is a penalty. You get your best player to shoot. So we've got to be very careful. Also, speaking about PF, them trying to cling on to the fact that passing through Zambia, we take advantage of that. Even for the road networks, it's the same thing. Why haven't we done that? So it's energy, infrastructure. Third, mining. We are historically a mining country. Say it's no PF. It's no PF.
Okay, fast forward. Let's assume...
There is PF in the Sudo as an organization controlled by Chawinga. But as by extension, Chawinga is controlled by the UPND.
All right.
And if you've heard, Chawinga has already put it on record that PF, his PF, is already in an alliance with the UPND. Now, how can an opposition be in an alliance with the ruling government and you expect to topple them? It doesn't make sense. But that's where we are right now.
All right. Let's assume you pass through all these hurdles that you're going through as the opposition alliance.
Right.
And sadly, you are not picked either as its presidential candidate or running mate.
Right.
Would you still support the movement?
On two conditions. I've already said this. If the person picked to stand against Hakainde, I believe that he can win us an election. Yes. I'll support that. If I think that person cannot beat Hakainde and we cannot through him beat the UPND, no, I can't. Because this is a one-shot chance. We don't have to miss. Zambians, we don't have to take chances with this one. This one is a penalty. You get your best player to shoot. So we've got to be very careful. Also, speaking about PF, them trying to cling on to the fact that they're an anchor party or the presidential candidate must come from them. They lost elections in 2021. So how can they justify that? We need this alliance to work. So whoever is going to be chosen by the alliance must be a candidate who can win, not necessarily coming out of PF.
All right. Let's move on, sir. The elephant in the room now is load shedding.
Yes.
The energy sector in Zambia is struggling quite a lot.
Very true.
A lot of businesses are either shutting down or struggling to survive.
Right.
And these are stories we've heard government come out and say in June or whatever month, power will stabilize and all that. Seems nothing is happening. What alternative do you have in this aspect?
Well, first let me say that as Zambia must prosper, we've got 5 pillars on which we want to build our economy going forward.
Okay.
In our manifesto, these are major policy issues. Number 1, energy. We understand that no country can develop business, industry, agriculture without energy. And by energy, we mean electricity and petroleum products. Number 2, we need quality infrastructure. We need good roads. We need quality hospitals, clinics. We need schools. We need a whole lot of range of infrastructure, housing, communication towers. All the infrastructure that we need in that regard has to be top quality, because any investor coming into Zambia who is going to fail to communicate back home, or who is going to fail to communicate to his office doing things, who can't travel, is going to have difficulties in investing in this country. Remember, infrastructure such as road networks, rail networks, these move goods and services faster. They move drugs to hospitals, and businesses moves up and down. Also taking advantage of our geographical location. We've got 8 neighbors around Zambia. We sit in the center. So we can have a lot of rail lines crisscrossing into Botswana, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Tanzania, DRC, Malawi, passing through Zambia. We take advantage of that. Even for the road networks, it's the same thing. Why haven't we done that? So it's energy, infrastructure. Third, mining. We are historically a mining country. So we know that without mining, we can't do anything. We've got a lot of minerals here in this country. So we've got to expand these things. Number 4, in our area of expertise and expansion, agriculture. This country is 752,000 square kilometers. Most of it arable. We've got 40% of the SADC water bodies, freshwater bodies, living and sitting in this country. How can we not employ over 10 million, 12 million Zambians into the agriculture sector? It's a very important area. All these things put together, then we are going to have industrialization through SMEs, which is the 5th pillar. We need to attack those informal sector employments, because without energy, without infrastructure, without all these things I've mentioned, the small scale will not develop. So these 5 pillars sit at the core of the Zambia Must Prosper manifesto. You asked me about electricity.
Yes.
Our first thrust is to reconsider and every exit clause we can use in the current agreements we have with the selling of power. Because I don't believe, as a president of this country in the future, that I should be selling power